Yes.
Okay, we are. Let me think about this for a second. What are we doing here?
I think I'm going to try to get a vehicle going.
So we were over here last fall and or last winter, I guess it was. We got Barb's '66 Ford pickup from this. This is a private salvage yard that's out here. Anyway, when we were walking around the salvage yard again, Barb happened to spot this 1980 Lincoln, and she said, "Ooh, what's that?" So she kind of wanted it, so we went ahead and got it. And this is going to be a will it start video. If it'll start and everything seems pretty good, we're going to try to drive it. It's 237 miles from here to my house, so we're going to try to drive it home. Wish us luck. So this is a 1980 Lincoln Continental. Later years it would have been called a town car. For some reason 1980 was just known as a Continental. This thing is pretty clean. Like I said, Barb spotted this when we were doing a little walk around the boneyard over here. It's kind of tight in here from other vehicles sitting around it. So I'm kind of hoping that if we get it going, we can move some stuff out of the way and get it out of here. I can't find any body damage on this. Even the vinyl top is in really good shape. I think it's been barn stored most of its life, or garaged. I'm not real sure why they quit driving it. Looks like the last time it was licensed was 2006. So 18 years. It's been off the road for 18 years. It has been indoors for most of that. Sorry, the video on this isn't going to be very good because it's really tight to get around in here. I got just enough room to get around it so I can work on it. So when we seen this, we kind of decided that it was worthwhile to try to save this car. So just looking it over real quick, I see there's a crack in the windshield. It's the only thing I see as far as glass goes. The interior is pretty darn nice. The dash doesn't have any cracks in it. Unlike most will it starts and rescues, it actually has keys. There's kind of a backstory to that too, but unfortunately, the mice have gotten in this thing. I can't see anywhere where they've eaten any of the interior, but this thing smells horrendously bad inside. So we're going to do some things to try to clean this up, if it will in fact run. I see the headliner sagging pretty good in this thing. We'll have to do some repairs on that. These cars came with 302s. This one actually has the optional 5.8.
I'll hold this for you.
Half the battle's figuring out how to open it. Everything in here seems to be pretty intact. I don't see anywhere where the mice have chewed any wiring or anything. Like I say, I don't know why this car was parked. Kind of the story that we have is the guy that owned it just got too old to drive it. And this thing is fully loaded. It has everything: air, tilt, cruise. I think it even has AM/FM cassette stereo, power windows, power seats. I don't know. We'll probably find more out about it as we go along, but let's take a peek and see what the miles are on this thing. Whew, this thing stinks.
Do you have to sit in it?
No, you do when you go to start it. It says 90,978. As clean as this car is and as little wear as there is on everything, I'm thinking that's got to be original miles. So, one of the first things that I'm going to do, normally I would go into trying to get it started and stuff, but one of the first things I'm going to do with this car is I'm going to put a battery in it and see how many of these windows will roll down so we can get this thing airing out. Are we on?
Yeah.
So, like I said, one of the first things we're going to do is put a battery in this thing and see if we could get the windows to roll down to try to get this thing aired out a little bit. So, there has been a little something done under the hood on this thing because, well, it's got a black cable for the positive lead. I'm not too keen on that, but it is what it is. It's in good shape. Looks like our ground has a little bit to be desired. We might have to switch that out at some point. That's even gonna
Oh, that
fit.
little device did really nice. Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on them old school battery terminal cleaners. We're gonna throw the positive cable on. Make sure we got positive to positive. Yep. Let's just see. Oh, I suppose I should mention that today's battery sponsor is, well, Barb. I don't have enough batteries to go around on vehicles that I got, so we come over here to do a will it start. I robbed a battery from another one. It's kind of iffy, so she said, well, let's just get a battery for it, and if it car turns out to be junk or whatever, we can use it in something else. So thanks, Barb.
Team, baby, team.
Ooh,
I hear Sparkies.
little sparkies. Well, some clicking going on.
Over to the right.
I see our hood light works.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and hook that up for a minute. And nothing seems to be catching on fire. It didn't go into start mode all on its own. While I'm waiting to see if there's any shorts on this, I am just gonna do a little look around and see what we got. So, looks like we have all of our spark plug wires. One of them's kind of laying on the manifold there. Let's move these guys up out of the way. Okay, those are out of the way. Looks like our distributor cap is on and solid. I'll probably look under that before we get out of here. I think this has been replaced because I want to say that in this vintage, the Ford parts were gray. So that's probably an aftermarket unit. It does have, actually, it's got the original spark plug wires on it. And they are all numbered to where they go. That's kind of cool. Let's see. I'll just take a look through some stuff. Well, there is some coolant in it. The level's pretty darn low, but that doesn't concern me. Inside the radiator looks really clean. Gosh, this thing is just pretty much all original. Oop, we have a replaced ignition module at some point. It's not if a Ford ignition module is gonna quit, it is when.
Oh, it doesn't even look that bad.
Gosh, the oil is right up on the full mark and it looks
good.
Brand new. It smells like oil. Huh. Well, that's good. I see this thing's got some factory recall, factory service stickers on the valve cover. What did we do here? It looks like they did an inspection on the carburetor. Doesn't give a mileage. At 3,557, it had an inspection on the smog system. So here is our engine decal. They used to put them on the valve covers, but in these years they stuck them on the air filter, air intake. This is a 5.8 liter Windsor engine, and it gives all our other information. Wow, spark plug gap is 48 to 52 thousandths on this. All the information, tune-up information we need is right here. But I'm just gonna assume this thing's gonna just fire right up and tear down the road. Yeah, right. So let's pop this thing apart. Gosh, the air cleaner looks like it's brand new. Inside's nice and clean. There's some mouse. So this car has what is called a variable Venturi carburetor on it. Now, a lot of people didn't like these. They were kind of, throttle response wasn't real crisp on them. They were kind of a little doggy. But I went online and did some research on this, and their advertised fuel economy on this particular car is 17 city and 24 highway. This is a 351 Windsor engine, and it's a pretty big car. Those are impressive numbers. We'll see if it hits that. Some of this stuff out of our way. Okay, well, I'm gonna go see if the dang windows will roll down.
No.
The key dinger works. Oh, yeah. Whew.
I hear something blowing underneath there.
The
Wow.
window goes down.
Wow. Unbelievable. Both sides are going.
Other side's a little stiff. Whew, boy, this thing stinks. So I am affectionately calling this car the Stinkin' Lincoln. Where's off? I don't want to stick my head in there. Oh, that's right. These have the... Whew. Don't lose those. So when we came over here to look at this car the first time, or when we looked at it the first time, the guy that's got it said, can't really tell you a whole bunch about it. Basically, it was stored in an old barn. He got hired to tear the barn down. Nobody wanted the car, so we towed it here. He said, what it is what it is. I don't have any keys for it. So we went home, and I had a dream where the keys were. It's kind of a funny story because they were exactly where I dreamed they were. In my dream they were tied with a piece of string to the hinge on the gas door. Well, they weren't tied with a piece of string. They were stuck in this old school coin purse laying down in the gas door. So this will stay with the car. All right. What now? Oil's up. We got enough juice in there to...
See all the fluid in there? The washer fluid?
What? that's green, somebody put antifreeze in the washer fluid jug.
Unless it's green washer fluid.
Could be. I haven't never seen green, but I don't know. Send us a comment. Have you guys seen green washer fluid? The washer fluid reservoir in this is full, but it's green. No, wait a minute. It is not. That is the overflow for the radiator. And the little doodads off of there. So is the washer fluid side full? That is antifreeze. Huh.
It is antifreeze?
It is antifreeze. There is no washer fluid in it, but we can fix that. Gosh.
Get the old gas out and see, or
Everything seems to be pretty good. Here's our linkage. Oh, that's gonna, dang, that's a long ways in there. Our carb linkage is free. Uh-oh. That didn't want to come back up. Diaphragm seems to be okay. I don't really see anything that's telling me that we can't crank on this thing. I don't have a way to really turn this engine. The smog pump is still on here and the belt's on it. Unbelievable. Normally I would try to turn the engine with a wrench. I think this thing is in pretty darn good shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reach in and hit the key. See if she turns a little bit. Just found the registration. Looking for that envelope full of $100 bills. This car was indeed licensed through 2006. So it has been off the road for 18 years? What is this, 2004? 18 years.
it's 2024.
Or 2024. Something like that.
It's the smells got to you, huh, baby?
We might have to clean this thing before we try to make it run. Turns over. Sounds really good turning over. No weird noises, no clunks, no pops.
What?
I'm gonna check for spark. See if we can get some place where this will sit, where we can listen for the crackle of spark. What's it right in there? Okay, you want to reach inside there and turn the key? The key. Whoops, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna have Barb go in and hit the key. You don't have to get in there, but and I'm gonna see if we got any spark.
Let me know when.
Okay, go ahead, baby. Yes, we've got spark. Okay, I don't really recommend doing this, but I didn't bring a small gas container along. I'm not going to give it very much, but I'm going to throw a little bit of starting fluid down the carb here, and we'll see if it pops. That's all I want to know before we go any farther. So, we gotta open those. Too, can I? Now open up the throttle plates. Open up the. Go ahead and hit the key, baby.
Wow.
Fired right up. Okay. Key's still on. Well, I guess there's nothing really stopping us now but fear itself.
And cleaning it.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm scared.
Ugh, God.
It's bad in there.
I wish I had a wand and I could just wave it and that will go away.
So, why don't you go ahead and start cleaning inside?
Yeah? You mean break out my hazmat suit?
Yeah, this thing's pretty bad. There has been some cases of hantavirus, not in this direct area, but pretty darn close around in here. And this thing is mousy bad. So we have brought some cleaning stuff, a vacuum cleaner, gloves, N95s.
An ozonator.
And we actually bought an ozonator. We're going to see if it actually works to get rid of the smell in this thing. Just getting rid of the mouse nests and stuff is going to help immensely, I bet. I wonder how much is down in the heater.
What are we looking at?
This thing has the headlight sentinel when it turns off and on when it gets dark. It also has the automatic dimmer on it, so it automatically dims for oncoming traffic. Both of those are turned off right now. It has washer, wiper, horn, dimmer. Someplace there's got to be a button to run the... Oh, there's all the buttons for the cruise control there in the steering wheel. AM, FM, cassette. Has the optional premium sound system. She's climate controlled. This thing probably does everything but cook your dinner. All right, well, probably just have the camera set up someplace and we're gonna get to doing some cleaning on this thing. Huh? Is that thing on? Huh. We're not gonna bore you guys with all the details of cleaning this thing out. We're gonna just set the phone up someplace where you can kind of see, and we'll probably fast forward through most of that. Maybe give you guys some easy listening music or something to listen to while we're doing it. But anyway, we're gloves, N95, goggles, trash bag, and we're gonna start cleaning the heavies out of this. And then we brought a generator and a vacuum cleaner and stuff, and we're gonna go in and suck all of it out we can. I was kind of thinking on the way over here that we should have stopped at Walmart and bought like 1,000 of those little tree air fresheners to put in here, but we forgot. So hopefully we get most of it out. Goal is get this thing running, get it over someplace close to electricity, and we're gonna put that ozone machine in it overnight and see if it gets the smell out. I'm kind of curious to see how those work. So anyway, here we go. Wish us luck. You can smell this stuff through the mask. My God.
Means you don't have a good seal on your nose.
No, I think you can just smell it through the mask. Anybody need to gravel their driveway? I'm not sure what that's all about. There is some damage to the carpet back here. Means the back seat's been ridden in a lot. I'm not sure where all the gravel came from. Well, there's that big nest out.
Now the other side?
Yeah. Wow. Not much up there, just the vacuum cleaner stuff.
Yep.
Let's look in the trunk.
You get the keys?
I didn't close it all the way.
Oh, okay.
Well, that doesn't stay up. I'll find something to prop that up with.
I'm holding it right now. The brush. Use that for the seats. Use that for cleaning.
Smart work.
Yeah. Trying to cut down. Oh, everyone's underneath. Or is it all the same painting?
Throw that off the side. Oil painting of some sorts.
Uh-huh.
It's a good blanket.
Yeah, no.
Ooh, Victoria's Secret. What do we got here?
Undies.
Ooh-ee.
Oh, wow.
Fancy.
Doesn't even look like the mice got to it. Baby, you gonna wear it?
Yeah, no.
Oh, wow.
Same thing again. God. Hey, looky there.
Hey,
We scored us a ball peen hammer. Chain.
box.
Box full of mouse poop. That was kind of nice.
Yeah. What's this?
Ooh,
it's
tools.
Toolbox. Look at that. Bottle opener too.
Yeah, go ahead and set that over there on the flatbed. We'll keep that.
Wow. They had a. This is where they must have set up the big residence. Must have been the main home.
This was Party Central. Wow, underneath all this stuff, the carpet looks brand new.
Yeah.
This stuff stinks. Dang.
Maybe that'll make a big difference in the smell of the vehicle.
Well, there's a whole bunch up there.
What's that metal thing behind back up in there?
It's a jack.
Oh.
It's got the little sticker there that tells you how to use it.
Is that more pile right there?
Yeah, that's more stuff there. I'm gonna pull the spare tire out.
Okay. Nice tire.
That's brand new. I don't know if that's the factory original or not, but
Wow.
that is a brand new tire. She's a little low on air. Pull all this stuff out and set it aside.
I'll take that.
Yeah, let's put that over on the flat. Oh, be darned. Look at all this stuff. That tire is brand new.
It's gorgeous.
I think the spare's fine. Just needs some air.
Is that like a pan up there? That those?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just heading that way.
You want to hand me the ball peen and the chain? Get them out of there.
I'm gonna take this jack out. Or not. All right. Hi. I gotta catch my breath. Get this thing off so I can breathe for a minute. Whew. Well, we are primed up. I got some fuel in that carburetor. Let me hook up the negative terminal here. See if it'll start. Go ahead and give her a little bit of gap. Not quite full throttle. Just let it start now. Wow. She sounds pretty good. She had a little lifter clicky click going. Are we pumping any gas? We have a drizzle coming. Huh? It won't idle, or it is idling? What's the gas gauge say? Doesn't seem to have one, does it? Half?
That's what it says. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's E. It's kind of like all of it's blinking. There's full, half, and E. So it might be empty.
Okay, that tells us something. I can't remember what it tells us.
What you see going on?
Huh? You still recording?
Yeah.
Well, it is running. It's running a little bit rough. I am not getting any fuel out of the factory fuel pump. I don't know if it's just out of gas or what the deal is, but I know we've got to have a vacuum leak somewhere because the air cleaner is disconnected. That might be why it's running a little rough. Let's see what I can find over here. Sounds like we got a little exhaust leak. I'm holding my hand on the exhaust pipe and there ain't nothing coming out. Our exhaust is plugged up somewhere. That'll cause them to run a little rough. It's not really smoking. Yeah, I think the exhaust is plugged on it.
That's what I'm saying.
We might have to cut the muffler off of this thing. Got an exhaust leak going on up here because of that. Likes that better. Boy, she's burning off some junk. Huh?
Sounds like something popped underneath the passenger side.
Oh, we're getting some out. Okay, we've verified run. We're gonna let her smoke for a little while here. Disconnect the carburetor. Here's a fuel pump. Sure, if you want to. I'm pretty sure that our exhaust is plugged up on this thing. When I fire it up, I go to the back and hold my hand on there. Not much coming out the exhaust. It's got a lot of noise coming from underneath. It's some kind of an exhaust leak. So we're probably gonna have to cut the muffler off this thing to get it. I was hoping if there was anything in there to blow it out, but I don't wanna run it too long sitting here because it could build up enough heat to start this dry grass on fire, and we don't want to cause a prairie fire with this car. So we're probably going to just leave it for now, do a little cleaning up around here. Actually, hop in there. How do the brakes feel?
Good question.
Let's see how the brakes feel.
I feel like I got brakes.
She's got brakes.
Hard. Hold on a sec.
and then fire it up and see if it'll go into gear.
Can you move that seat back? Show them how clean it is out in here.
So, Barb did some work with the vacuum cleaner. We still got a long ways to go. I she figured out how the key comes out. But it is a lot cleaner in here. There was deep mouse nest.
Look in the back.
It still does not smell wonderful, but it's a lot
livable.
better than it used to
And we got
be.
the nests out of the roof.
Yeah, there was the headliner sagging down on this.
Nests.
And we took 3 big old mouse nests out of there. So I'm gonna have to address that headliner. Normally I take the headliners out of these things and glue them back in, but I don't think that headliner's coming out shy of taking the windshield out of this car. So I'll have to figure out another way to do that. I'll keep you guys posted on that.
I should just be able to tuck it in.
Back seat come out really good. We have not taken the seats out yet to do the vacuuming. We will probably do that. I don't know if the front seats didn't need to come out, but the back seat for sure.
They do. There's a lot of pee underneath.
And yeah, it still stinks. But we gotta go back here and show you the trunk. This trunk is huge. You could haul a lot of moonshine in this car. It's pretty clean. We're gonna have to do some scrubbing here and there. I might take this carpet out and shampoo it and use the pressure washer, but it's pretty darn clean. All the original stuff, the jack was in its proper place. Everything was, I don't think the spare tire's been out of this car. So anyway, we're gonna do some cleanup around here, move some stuff around. And I don't know if I'm looking at this.
You're good.
Then we're going to pull this thing out someplace where we can run it a little longer. We might have to jack it up, take the Sawzall, cut the muffler off of it. I don't know if this car has catalytic converters. It's 1980. It is smog, so it probably does. I don't know. We'll have to see, but the exhaust is definitely plugged on it. So we're going to clean up around here, see if we can get it moved out of this hole that it's in. We are locked in between. It looks like probably the easiest method to get this out of here is going to be to hook onto this pickup right here and see if we can drag it out of the way, and then we can hopefully drive this car out. One thing that we need to do real quick, Barb, go ahead and start it again. See if the transmission goes in gear. I've checked the fluid, it's pretty black. It's gonna need a fluid filter change for sure, but
This thing is so freaking comfortable.
I think Barb is falling more in love with this car every minute. My intent on this was to sell it, but see if we'll go into gear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yep.
Reverse.
Go ahead and shut her off. Well, it appears that we've got brakes, we've got gears, the engine runs. Yeah, let's do a little cleanup on this thing, and we'll see if we can move it out of this hole. We'll get back with you.
Charlie, get over here. Charlie, move.
Oh, I'm just looking at the gas tank to see it's dry. That's why we weren't pumping anything out. I think the fuel pump's working okay, but the bottom of this has got, I don't know. Can you hand me the phone?
Uh-huh.
Sorry about flipping you guys around here, but there's the bottom of the gas tank. It's got a lot of, looks like maybe it's leaked. Like maybe that tank, it's kind of funny, I can see better with the camera. I don't know. I don't smell anything. Huh, I don't know. There you go.
You put gas in it and check it.
Oh, it's got new shocks on it too. No matter what, we're gonna have to open up this exhaust and see if we can get her breathing a little better. She's got a glass pack muffler right here too.
Boom, 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 boom.
Wish I could see down in there to see what's going on, but she's definitely plugged up. Running better all the time. So we disconnected the exhaust on this thing, took it off at the behind the catalytic converters, so they're still intact on it. The car's running beautiful. It runs really good. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of cleanup on that variable venturi to get it to work correctly so it doesn't overfuel, but everything seems to be functioning all right. We're just gonna let it run for a little while, go through the couple of heat cycles, and then we're gonna see what we can do for cleaning the exhaust out, I guess. I don't know. We might just be running her home with straight pipes. We got to go through the reservation and they'll think it's cool. Is that thing on?
Yes.
Oh, hey. Hey, everybody. Good morning. We were over here working on the Lincoln yesterday. Kind of ran out of energy and we had to make a run to a parts store to get some parts. Kind of wanting to overheat a little bit, so I went ahead and bought a thermostat for it. I don't think there's any major issues with it. The exhaust was plugged up. I don't know if you guys caught that yesterday, but I got the exhaust broke loose on it. Got some of it cleaned out. I'm going to actually bolt some of it back together and cut the muffler off of it. And we'll probably just order up a new muffler and tailpipe assembly for it later on down the road. It'll be a little loud on the drive home, but that's all right. What else? That's about where we're at, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Barb got her all cleaned out yesterday. Well, not completely, but got it vacuumed out and everything. It smells a lot better. We went online last night, looked up some parts and stuff. We're not going to bother with trying to shampoo the carpet and stuff out of this. We can buy new carpet kit for it, really reasonable. So we're just going to go ahead and got the interior out of this thing, put new carpet in. We'll work on getting the headliner put back together. Just little things like that once we get it home. But today we're gonna, like I said, cut the rest of the exhaust off, change the thermostat, put some fuel in it, see if the fuel tank leaks. It was dry, so that kind of worrisome. Got underneath and looked at it. I can't seem to find any visible holes in it, but it does show signs of maybe leaking or something going on back there. So we'll pour a little bit of gas in it, see what happens. If it's leaking, we'll probably have to just siphon it back out because it's right by where the exhaust is going to get cut off. I don't think that's a great idea. So anyway, we're gonna get at it, and we'll kind of keep you posted. I don't know if Barb wants to do another little walk around and show it off, or did we get that done yesterday?
That was good enough for yesterday.
Okay, so yeah, once we get set up and everything, one of the things that we're gonna do, we've left this thing open all night, let the air kind of take some of the scent away. We are going to be running the generator, so you'll probably hear that in the background. At least it's quiet. And we're going to put that ozone machine, we're going to lock it in the trunk for an hour or so and just kind of see what that does for us. Yeah, so we'll keep you guys posted. Oh, hey. I'm just going to do a little video here on this ozone machine. So we ordered this online. I think, what did we get it through Amazon or something? The company is Anderson Advanced Portable Air Purification System. So we're going to open this thing up and kind of take a look at the instructions and whatnot. And once we figure out how to use it, we'll plug the darn thing in, leave it in the trunk of this Lincoln, and we'll see how it works. And Ooh, hey, looky here. We got one of them says do not enter. Exposure can cause respiratory irritation. That's good to know. There's a instructions. Yeah, don't need those. It's packaged in there pretty nice. Pretty compact little unit. It's actually quite heavy for its size, whatever it is. I guess she thinks we do need the instructions. Looks like it's got a little fan. Some kind of a little electronic gizmos in there. Got a timer on it. Looks like 180 minutes or hold. 30, 60, 90. Wow, you can let this thing run for a while. And it says right on it, use in unoccupied space only. So I would imagine if you got odor issues or whatever in your home, you're probably not going to want to run this while you're in there. But we're gonna see what it does in the trunk of a Lincoln.
Oh, if I could hold it if the wind wasn't blowing. So I want to warn you all, today we have some wind going on.
Almost hard to believe that there's wind in eastern Montana.
We'll keep you posted on how this goes.
Like I said earlier, this thing was overheating a little bit. It's low on coolant, but for the price of a thermostat, it's pretty cheap insurance that we're gonna make it home with the thermostat. These things are actually pretty easy to change the thermostat on. The 302 is a shorter deck height, and it puts this thermostat housing down behind the water pump and the timing cover, and they can be a bear. This one's not looking like it's gonna fight me too bad. As everything on this car so far, the bolts are coming right loose. I'm just using quarter drive on this because it fits in here nice and easy. You can do it with a 1/2 inch, 3/8 drive, but oh, this one doesn't want to go on there. There we go. What's going on here? I might have to take that hose loose to get this one off. The socket doesn't want to fit behind the hose. Huh. Well, let me see if I can loosen it with a wrench. Wow. I might have to take that hose off. I generally don't like to take hoses off because they have a tendency to leak afterwards. But we're on it and it's working. Let's see if I can get this guy scared off there now. This car has all the original hoses on it. And unless he took it to the dealer and had new belts put on it, these are all the original belts too. It's kind of a weird year. It's kind of a transitional period. It's got a V-belt for the air conditioner. It's got a tiny little V-belt down there for the smog pump, but it has a serpentine belt for the alternator and power steering. Don't really know what their thinking was behind that, but let's see what evil lurks under here once we get this out. Oh, look at all that yuck in there. And the thermostat is cocked. Wow. Huh. There's some crud in the cooling system. I'm not sure what that stuff is. Well, let's see if I get that thermostat out of there now. Ah, there it comes. Oh. Huh.
Yucky.
Never seen anything quite like that, and it is damaged. So yeah, that's a good thing that we're replacing that guy. Achoo. Just scrape the old gasket off here real good. I'm sure there's better scrapers out there on the market than this thing, but I think I bought this from a $1.99 tool bin 20 years ago. It's served its purpose. Like I say, you want to make sure you get all this old gasket off. I might actually have to get in here with my pocket knife and get these heavy pieces off of here. Brand new thermostat, factory rated, 195 degree, especially up here in Montana. Summers we might hit 100 degrees once in a while. Most of the time we're looking at highs in the 80s. So the 195 is pretty good. You don't have to change it back out for winter time. In the winter time we do hit like 50 below. Nice to have a good thermostat so that you can get some heat out of the car. Of course, gasket. I do recommend buying the gaskets with the adhesive backing on them. It just makes this job so much easier. When you put these in, always make sure that this part goes towards your radiator. If you put them in backwards, they're not going to work right and you'll overheat. Little groove down there in the thermostat housing that fits in. I'm going to pull this. Well, maybe. Stand by, we're having technical difficulties. Make sure you get all the adhesive backing off. If you don't, that could cause a leak. And make sure that you get all the holes lined up. There is a bypass hose on this thing, so you need to make sure that that lines up with its little hole. I got it. Got it stuck to the thermostat. Pulled the thermostat out of its hole.
That maybe go. Well, I was wondering, could you put that on first before you put in the thermostat?
Nope. There's a groove in the housing
Okay.
that the thermostat slips into.
Oh, okay.
Once you get everything all glued in place, that kind of helps hold stuff. Try to get these bolts back in now. Sometimes that's the hard part. Barely hook that hose clamp right there is in the way of being able to get the socket on here. It's actually rubbing on the bolt head, so I'm kind of doing this with the socket at an angle, trying to scare it on there, and it's not liking that very well. Go ahead and snug up the bottom one. And we're going to try to scare this top one on with the wrench. This would have been easier to do it. I had taken that bypass hose off, but I didn't pick one up. A lot of times you end up hurting the hose, getting it off the housing, or then can't get them to clamp back down and not leak. So kind of doing this the hard way, but with a little frustration, we'll get it on there. Thing on. So I cut the resonator off of this car. That seemed to be where the plug was in the exhaust. When I took it off, I shook a bunch of stuff out of it. Changed the thermostat on it because it was overheating on us a little bit yesterday when we were running it. It was way low on coolant, so that was probably the problem. But the thermostat we took out was bad, so putting a new one in is cheap insurance that it won't overheat. The problem we're having with it now is this has one of those variable Venturi carburetors on it, and there's a vacuum diaphragm that actually runs the Venturis and the metering rods and stuff. That diaphragm seems to be not working, and so to keep it running, what I've got going on here, there's these little slides right here. Those are activated by the diaphragm. The slides actually run metering valves that tell it how much fuel to get. Well, right now they're not opening. So in order to get it to sit here and idle, which is idling kind of fast, but I gotta block these guys open, otherwise they close and then it's not fueling right. So that's an issue. I don't know if we're gonna be able to drive this car home because of that. It runs really good. I don't know, I might look around and see if I can find just an old school carburetor to put on it. I have to block off some vacuum stuff and it'll probably set off some weird codes, but that should make it run so we can drive it home. The other thing, we're not too far from a major city. When I say major, Montana doesn't really have any major ones, but it's a possibility we might be able to find a kit for this carburetor and rebuild it. They are expensive. The carburetor kits are about $150. There's nothing to them, but probably the reason they're so expensive is they don't sell very many of them. Most people in the past have taken these carburetors off, put regular carburetors back on because they really didn't understand how they worked. When they're working good, they work really good. That carburetor, you know, this is a 351 in this car, and that carburetor allowed this car to get 24, 25 miles to the gallon out on the highway and 17 to 19 in town. They're not very responsive on the throttle, but they do make good gas mileage. So we'll do some scrounging around, see what we can come up with, and see if we can make this thing run to get it home. We on? Okay, I had to cut the muffler and tailpipe assembly and stuff off this car. It was full of mouse nest and choking it out really bad. We're having some issues with the variable Venturi carburetor, but it seems to run fine when it's warm, so I just kind of have to fiddle fart around with it until I get it warmed up, and then it seems to function okay. I've poured gas in the gas tank. It looked like there'd been a leak at the gas tank, but when I got it up in the air so I could cut the exhaust and stuff off, I got to doing some inspection and I found that the rear differential seal, the pinion seal, is actually leaking, and that's what had the bottom of the gas tank wet. So It seemed fairly clean inside, so I went ahead and poured some gas in. We've run the car off the boat tank with the factory fuel pump hooked up to the gas tank and another hose going into a can. It is indeed pumping fuel. So I am going to install this piece of hose in between the fuel line that comes from the gas tank and the fuel pump, and I'm going to run it up inside the engine bay. I'm going to put a fuel filter in here. We're going to call this a service loop. So if there's any contaminants and stuff in the gas tank, we're going to catch them in that fuel filter before the fuel pump, and put the filter in an easy place to change. So if we got to do it alongside the road or something, we don't have to jack it up, get under it, none of that weird stuff. And the fuel filter that is on the carburetor on these is just a tiny little thing. It wouldn't take long to plug it up. So we're going to just put some inline filters and we'll just run it, see how it does. Okay, we've got our service loop made. We got our fuel filter put in place. We got the hoses run so that they're not going to interfere with anything. We're going to lay that thing right in there where it's kind of out of the way of everything. Let's see, what else do we got to do? I'm going to hook up the battery, see if we can start this thing again, make sure we're pumping good. So we've got it off the nurse tank now. This will be the first time that it's running entirely on its own in, what did we say, 18 years?
Yeah.
Fuel doesn't look too ugly. She's pumping on her own. I think we're ready to go for a little drive. What do you think? Think we should go for a drive? She's shaking her head, yeah. Clean up our tools off from underneath there.
Well,
all right.
Okay, we're in it. As you can see, the headliner's hanging down a little bit, touching his head, but that's cool.
I really thought there'd be more room in here. This is kind of cramped for me, and it's all the way back. Well,
I guess that was the mirror adjustment.
yep. Wow, the speedometer works going backwards.
Brakes.
Yeah, it's got brakes.
We're trying to see if the tires are going to blow. Just so you know, the tires are weather cracked.
What could possibly go wrong?